Hello world. Today we're working on a Land Rover LR2. We're going to go ahead and replace the serpentine belts. I went ahead and left the part number for both of these guys. You'll see it once I replace them. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the airbox because it is going to be in our way. Make sure to remove the mass airflow sensor gently, that way we don't break the little clip that holds it. It tends to happen sometimes, but we want to be as delicate with these plastic components as we can. Once you loosen up these hose clamps, you should be able to pull this guy off. Go ahead and move that out of the way. Now we're gonna move this little guy over here, and the fan protector or cover is gonna have to get moved out of the way. Now you are gonna need a bit of a special tool to get the fan removed. In this case, we had to improvise just a tad, or at least should I say I had to improvise just a tad in order to get this loose. But there are certain tools that will make this job a lot easier. So you can see we loosened this guy. Now this is a right hand thread, meaning you turn to the right to loosen it instead of the left. These cars can be a little bit weird from that perspective, but once you get that guy loose, you just take the fan off. And then there is going to be a connector because there is, as you'll see, a wire that goes to the fan clutch. See right here on the right side, it clips on right there, so make sure to pull that up as you're pulling the fan out, that way you don't break or anything, or damage anything is a better word. Alright, now we got that out of the way. Let's loosen up that tensioner. That is what drives our water pump.
I didn't realize that you have to move it on the kids' account too. What do you mean? So I was on, we have two accounts on here, mine, and then they have a account. Yeah. So all of the games that they were playing, they're on the other account. Yeah, so they're on the internal drive as well, even though it's the same game.
So now,
that kind of makes sense.
Move my big ratchet out of the way. I hate when they get stuck like this.
But they have
It's
permission over where they put it on the tablet. Yeah.
so annoying.
It is. It's kind of like, well, so, yeah, we can put 4 gigabytes on us for that.
But I noticed that game took up almost the 2 gigs of RAM. Alright, so you can do two things right here. You can wiggle it out, or you can just loosen the tensioner and then take both of them out when they come out at the same time. But this one came out easily. Now, let's go ahead and get these bolts loose or off so we can remove the water pump pulley. Actually, no. I take that back. This one's weird. So this is just a regular idler pulley. And its base is what's behind it. So we're gonna have to remove that. My apologies. For some reason I thought that was the water pump. Alright, so now we got that guy out of the way. It's really only 3 bolts that hold it, just like 3 bolts that hold the pulley itself. And now here comes the tensioner. So I might have made things a little bit confusing. I do apologize about that. Now, if you don't have the best memory or you don't want to draw, then take pictures just so you get a general idea of where everything is going to go routed. And here's our secondary tensioner. We're going to go ahead and loosen the tension so we can get that belt off. And there we go. So it's not a very difficult job, and it's very doable. You just have to be a little patient, as you don't want to break anything. Alright, see? It's coming off. Alright, out with the old. That one's a pretty long one. The other one's really short. But the secondary one is the longer guy. So hopefully you drew a picture or you took pictures, because this long one can make things a little bit confusing. But once you get everything going the way it should, we slap everything on and you're set. During this time you want to go ahead and make sure that any other idler pulleys are good. That way you don't have to go back in and replace them later. Right now is the best time to replace any of those guys, as we have everything off. Alright, so everything checked out fine. Put on that knee belt. Now we're going to get this tensioner on there. And ta-da! If you do use electric hand tools, just remember to go back and make sure everything's nice and tight. Here's that little stationary bracket, but with a, in a sense it's an, I don't know how to describe it. The words have escaped my thoughts. If you know the exact name for this part, then let me know, but I just sure don't remember right now. So like I said earlier, 3 bolts. Make sure not to over tighten those, because those will break. And yes, I am using a power tool, but I do have it on a lower setting. And I'm definitely not cranking it down with that thing. There are going to be a few bolts on this coolant pipe that are going to have to get moved in order for you to get access to everything. It's really not a big deal. Once you get there, you'll see there's 3 bolts that need to be removed. We went ahead and put that pulley back on there. Again, 3 bolts. Not super difficult. So when you install this one, I usually like to start from the crankshaft and then move my way up to the last upper pulley. And obviously, you're going to have to guide it into where the tensioner pulley's at. And that guy came out easily this time. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put our fan clutch back on. As you can see, there's our little harness and connector. So slide those down around the same time, and then try to get that on the threads. This part should be easy as you have enough space, but just take a deep breath, hold it steady, and turn it to the left. Oddly enough. I do like that about these cars, but it can get confusing from time to time. Especially if you're working on American cars, you know, you want to righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but that's not the case here. Anyways, get that threaded on there, and then you're going to tighten it the same way you took it off. I think we're going to skip a little bit of that step though, so get that on there, bring in the other tools, and make sure that's nice and tight. Put our cover back on. Oh, I forgot to explain this part. Now when you take off this cover, see these little tabs? You want to go underneath and kind of squeeze them, that way you could take it off without necessarily damaging them. It makes it easy and simple for an install, but when you're trying to take these off, you don't necessarily see it. But so clip on and clip on. Pretty straightforward install. Removing them is the fun part. Just gotta press and then push up and they will come up. Make sure our fan clutch is connected. Put this in its little spot and you're pretty much set to go. Here's the part number for one, and that's the other part number for the other one. Now we're going to go ahead and reinstall this airbox. You know what? I actually hate these, the plastic that they use for that hose. It's so weird when you try to reinstall it. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. Here in this case it was easy, so see, it just went back on there. We're going to route the harness for the mass airflow sensor just underneath the airbox. Make sure that's connected. There it goes, and we want to tighten up those hose clamps. Now this airbox has, I call them stationary screws because they stay on there. They are Torx. I like it because you don't have to worry about losing them. So that's one benefit to this style. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this. If this was helpful in any way or form, oh, sorry, let me start that over. If this was helpful in any way or form, please make sure to hit the like button or possibly subscribe. You don't have to, but it really helps me out. But yeah, that's it. Thanks.